Okay, I want to look today at an Android app that is a restaurant tip calculator. So you're going to enter the bill and then a percentage for the tip, and the percentage tip is going to be entered using radio buttons. The URL for the code can be seen on the screen currently. Okay. So here's what the app looks like, and we're going to look at it in the layout design as well to see how this was achieved. So we start off with a text view for the bill amount, and then an edit text where they can enter the amount, and it's a number decimal, and it has a hint. So that 25 is sort of not there, giving the user a hint of what they should put in there, but it's not really there. So you can just start to type 7766 or something. Then we have a set of radio buttons. The radio buttons are in a radio group. So in a set of radio buttons, you're allowed to make 0 or 1 selection. So right now, 0 percentages of the percentages are chosen. If I choose 1, then there will, from then on, only be 1 chosen. So right now, 15, then 20. Selecting 1 deselects the previous. Okay. I can hit the button and it will do the calculation. If I were to change the bill amount, it clears out the answer. If I change the tip amount, it clears out the answer, and then one can recalculate. Okay, so the new thing is the radio buttons. The radio buttons are contained in a radio group. I'm in a constraint layout, so the radio group is constrained. But the radio buttons are not constrained. So we do not see constraint layout attributes here in the radio buttons. The radio button group has a purpose of saying that the buttons within the group are what one is choosing from, and one can, as the radio buttons, one can make like 0 or 1 of those choices. And the radio buttons don't need to be constrained because that radio group is assumed to be sort of a linear layout of the vertical type. So everything in there, one gets placed after the other directly underneath, so they don't have to be constrained in any way. We have to know where the radio group is within the larger interface, but within the radio. So the radio group has to be constrained within the larger constraint layout, but the radio buttons within the radio group don't have to be constrained. It's assumed automatically a linear vertical layout so that they are just one under the other. The radio group is a container, so there's an open and a close tag for radio group. The radio buttons are more singleton, so they sort of close themselves. We have a text for the radio buttons, so that's what the user sees, 10%. And we also have our sort of hidden secret compartment tag where I'm putting 0.10. So that is what's useful for the calculation, no percent sign, and the divided by 100 already happening. Then there was the button that we were seeing to cause the calculation, and then 2 text views under that for displaying the answer. So that is the layout. I'll close that and now look at the Kotlin code for this. Okay, so we have our connecting to the interface and edit text. I'm using prefix to tell me what kind of a widget it is. So ET was for edit text, and here it is. I'm casting my view as an edit text and going over to the resources based on their IDs, and I had something called ET bill amount there. These don't have to be the same. That's just the convention I follow. We're making a radio group. We're making a text view for the tip amount, a text view for the total amount, and a button to listen for the click action. we have some variables to do our calculating, a double for the bill, a double for the tip, a double for the total, and then I want to know the index of the radio button I pressed, and for that I'm using an integer. Here is the button click. I'm using the sort of implied on-click method within the on-click listener. I am here taking the edit text for the bill, grabbing its text, which is more than just a string, but casting it. So I'm just taking the string part of it and then casting that as a double. So now we said that it was a number decimal type input type. That controls what the user can type in, but that doesn't control what it is when we bring it over on the Kotlin side in code. It comes in as what was typed into an edit text, and so it comes out as text, which we can make into a string and then make into a double. That could go wrong in case they didn't enter anything at all. Then you can't cast, sort of an empty edit text as a double, and so that's why we have it in a try. So if we end up down in the else, then we're saying not in the else, in the catch. So this is a try. If we end up in the catch of the try, we're saying there was something wrong with your bill amount. Now we're going to the radio group and we're finding the ID of the checked radio button within the radio group. And it works. And again, radio groups, that's either none are chosen or one is chosen. If none are chosen, we will get a tip index of -1. And then otherwise, one will be chosen and we'll know its index. So we're asking here, if the tip index is not equal to -1, that means one of the buttons was selected. Then we can use that tip index to use find view by ID, cast the view as a radio button, and now we have the radio button the user chose. We had that secret compartment tag. We cast that as a string into a double and call that the tip, and then we're ready for our calculation. And then we can display in TV tip amount and TV total amount the results. And here we're doing some formatting with 2 decimal places to display 2 decimal places for the tip and 2 decimal places for the total. The else belongs to the tip index not being -1, which means it is -1. And that means that they didn't choose the tip amount in the radio button. If they change, this is the text change event of the edit text for the bill. So if they change the bill amount, we have a before, after, during, I always say, and I'm using the during to sort of clear out the tip amount. If they're changing the bill, then I'm taking away my calculation. And I also have a radio group event. So it's not an individual radio button event. There weren't 4 individual radio button events. We work with the radio group. So any change in what's checked within the radio group invokes this, raises this event, and we come in here and we're finding the radio button that happened to be clicked and toasting it out. This is just to sort of show that we know which radio button it was that was checked, because they're sending us information about the radio group and the checked index. So we can find which is the radio button. So we can find the particular radio button and send its text or whatever information we wanted. And here I'm just throwing it up in a toast to sort of show that I can access that radio button if I wanted. But here's the main thing I wanted to do. If they change the tip amount, I'm clearing out my answer. Thank you. That's what I wanted to show you.